100 laps for the drivers of the Daredevil Series for their first trip to the middle of a cornfield in Iowa. Green flag. Boy, they're stacking up already here on the outside.
Oh, we got trouble already. It's Matt Wagner and others.
James Watson, the points leader.
Well, oh my. We are 4, looking 5 wide as we cross the line here.
Yes, the outside line did not get a good start. Not even close.
And there's contact here. Oh my, that is some incredible netcode. Now, the initial contact was definitely there. I gotta try and see if I can figure out who everybody is here. I'm not sure. Is that Steve Roman in this like gold-colored car almost? It looks like this gold-colored car gets up into, I believe this is Watson, but look at Claiborne on the outside there. I mean, he is like 5 feet away from James Watson and somehow registers a netcode contact. Oh my goodness.
So Paul Ellison is around on the back straightaway, gonna lock it down and keep on going. I think maybe, oh no!
Oh!
Isidro and Kresge have gotten together, the caution is out. He's in control of the restart here. We are back underway, lap 43. It's going to be so close on whether or not we need another pit stop without a caution.
Engrave with a great
Hunter
start
Engrave. Made wide on cold tires. Hunter Engrave to the top spot.
And made it look easy. DeMade got super tight and catch up to the 70s underneath now.
DeMade lying in wait, side by side for the race lead.
Enters way on the bottom right on the yellow line.
Looking for a slide. He's going to take it and takes the lead back.
Not even close to going away. He's pulled up right to the back of DeMade.
He's going to take it back with ease.
Unbelievable. Here goes DeMade underneath.
DeMade back to the lead.
They will continue to swap places. Oh, there goes Schlosser. Oh, and somebody slams right into him. It's Kyle Zittel.
Man, oh man.
Not as good of a restart here for DeMade, or at least a better one for Engrave. This is how the initial pass for the lead happened. Here goes Engrave to the bottom.
Hunter on the attack on the inside. Will slide up, not clear. Problems for Victor Aldrich, I think, has made a little spin out of turn 4. Keep it green.
What happened? Oh, I think DeMade got super loose there out of 2. He backed way off.
And it's been the perfect stretch for driver number 7. He is going back-to-back victory lane again for Hunter Engrave. And this is getting to be a more and more familiar sight here on turn 200. Hunter Engrave whipping burnouts in the grass at the end of these races.
Yeah, not just in the open wheel cars, mind you. He did win a Truck 200 practice race as well. So, yeah, he's been putting it together. A lot of good runs here for Hunter Engrave.
March 9th of 2022, the inaugural outing of the then RIL Legend Series. The pavement was a little less steep and a little grayer than what we see here today, but nonetheless, it is a return trip to Atlanta Motor Speedway on August 23rd of 2023, over a year and a half removed from what proved to be one of the most consequential days in Turn 200 history. These drivers will experience higher speeds and somehow still yet less operating room as they try and manage 75 laps around the mile and a half for round number 10 of the 3rd season of the Daredevil Series right here on turn 200. Howdy, folks. It's two people that have been to Atlanta Motor Speedway, this version of Atlanta Motor Speedway before, so we're going to pretend like we know what we're talking about. It's Tommy Cook, and my partner Matt Williamson will be along here momentarily. Interesting things shaking down right now in the point standings. It is the largest ever points lead in series history, and as of right now, it belongs to James Watson by 1,175 points. But the driver that has closed the gap, believe it or not, in the last couple of races is Hunter Engrave. In the last couple of races, he has won twice. A victory tonight would put him squarely in the conversation for the title with just 2 more races to go the rest of the season. Daytona Road Course and Iowa were 2 tracks where you could manage the chaos a little bit more than what we are expecting tonight. We mentioned higher speeds. The track width has shrunk a little bit as well since the last time that the Daredevils were here in what was then the Legend Series. All the way back in March of 2022, you see what we see here. Tight quarters action, not a whole lot of places to go, not a whole lot of places to escape the chaos. Eventual winner Drew White makes a little bit of contact with Nate Siefker. Siefker tries to save, and then it is absolute chaos. That's the moment we knew we loved what we did here on turn 200, and we've never looked back since then. So why not bring it here to what is the new Atlanta Motor Speedway and give it a shot tonight? What could possibly go wrong? Well, a lot of chaos and calamity for sure. And although there was chaos and calamity last week in turn 200 land at Iowa for the Daredevil Series, quite a few drivers managed to get away unscathed. And by quite a few drivers, I mean all the names that are on the screen here that have qualified themselves for the Jacksonville Speedway Zero-Zero Challenge. Dakota DeMade, Dan Miglin, Hunter Engrave, Joshua Rutherford, Kirk Lane, Peter Donchek, and Ryan Dye all have an entry or another entry in a couple of these drivers' cases into the pot for the drawing at the end of the season. Every time a driver finishes on the lead lap with a 0x incident count, they add $2 to the pot. One driver will walk away with half of the money at the end of the season, which is now up to $56. The other half will be split in half again and given to 2 more lucky drivers based on a random draw for all 3. How many will we add after tonight? I'm thinking probably not many, but you know what? I was thinking that at Iowa last week as well, and I was wrong. Only one way to find out. We got to put cars on track, and we are just moments away from doing so here. Qualifying for the Daredevil Series at Atlanta Motor Speedway is around the turn on turn 200.
A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
This is the Daredevil Series from the new version of Atlanta, only on Turn 200.
Sweet home Atlanta. Yeah, everybody. No? Okay. Well, we're here. We got 19 Daredevils gearing up for 75 laps here tonight, the way things ought to be. Back at Atlanta Motor Speedway, where Matt, you and I got to do our very first league race ever about a year and a half ago. Things are a little bit different, but it's still got the same old spirit and excitement that we had all that time ago.
It certainly does, and a lot of the old players are still here as well. One of them is the former Atlanta champion, Drew White. He showed up almost last minute here to grace us with his presence, and he will be going for back-to-back Atlanta wins, albeit on a new version this time. 2022 version of Atlanta was not even a thought the last time Drew White took the checkered flag here.
And right now, provisionally on pole for what would be the first time in his Daredevil career, Matthew Short. But a couple of drivers looking to change that here, including Drew White, who's coming, I believe, to the checkers. And it looks like he is going to slot in 15th. James Watson has just completed his qualifying run. He is in 14th. Something that I showed but did not tell a little bit ago in the pre-race show. I showed the top 10 graphic, and some people may have noticed that there were two drivers in 9th and 10th who had red numbers. Those drivers with red numbers are out of mathematical contention, assuming that our champion driver starts the next two races. So, yes. It's already elimination season. Drivers tonight, the number they need to have in mind is 1975. You need to be within 1,975 points. Leaving Atlanta tonight to have a mathematical path to the championship. Realistically, you need to be inside of 1,000.
Yeah, most certainly. I mean, it's really going to be really hard to put a couple of good races together, especially here tonight. We really don't know exactly what to expect. I mean, it's kind of like nothing we've ever seen before here in the Daredevil series, but that's what this track brings us here on the sim. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, I mean, I really think you're going to need to be within 1,000 points, which might only be one or two folks after this is all said and done.
And something else that factors into it at the end of it all is the drop week. There is a drop week here this season for the first time ever. So I'm not 100% sure how that's going to factor in, but rest assured it will be playing havoc here. James Watson is out on the track, but I think he is making pit stop practice. And he is the only one out. Matt Houston is sitting at the end of pit road. He has clocked a classic Matt Houston qualifying lap of 54 seconds. Always likes to see how long he can make his qualifying effort whenever he decides he doesn't want to start up front. Also to point out, this is the first time we've seen Matt Houston with the Daredevil Series since round number 3 of last season. It has been a while since old Matty Pump has graced us with his presence here.
Yeah, it's exciting. We have a couple of names here in the field that either haven't been here for a while or haven't been here at all for the Daredevil series. So always good to have some new blood here in the Lotus 79. And yeah, I mean, we got a lot of the old players are back in the pit stalls here and going to be climbing in their cars here very soon. And that just creates a little bit extra magic, I think, for what's going to be a spectacular one here tonight.
Magic or madness, we're about to find out here in just about 30 seconds. But first, a shout out to everybody that's watching out in Turn 200 land. Thank you all very much for taking the time to spend your Wednesday evening, at least for a little bit, with us in the Daredevil series on Turn 200. We appreciate it greatly. Drew White and Ryan Dye already in the chat. They are about to take to the track. If you've got somebody you're cheering on here tonight, let us know. Drop us a chat here. One more thing to mention before we get to the starting grid. Our provisional pole sitter has now taken the pole. His race pick tonight is Will Ferrell, and I don't have a graphic for it, but he is picking Will Ferrell to win. And the irony of that is he is taking the pole. So he has, in theory, the best chance to go to victory lane tonight. Matthew Short, first career pole, leads the field to green. Gavin Sanders starting to his outside, back in the field, 3 times the winner last season. Was in the inaugural field here at Atlanta all that time ago. Looking to fare a little bit better than he did March 9th of 2022. Ryan Dye is in the 3rd starting position. He has a interesting livery on that car. I'm sure it'll get a lot of screen time tonight. The Season 1 champion, Dakota DeMade, will line up to his outside. Nicholas Isidro has not been able to buy luck the last 3 weeks. He starts in the inside of row number 3, looking for something to put a spark back in his championship effort. Christopher Hill, likewise, bad luck last week at Iowa took him out, and he is down in 3rd now in the point standings. Needs a big rebound here. Steve Roman and Zachary Flaum on row number 4. Last week's podium finisher, Kirk Lane, starts in the 9th position, and a debut driver, TJ Crampton, a winner in Truck 200 already this season, making his Daredevil debut tonight, rounds out your top 10 starters. Dan Meglin, a pretty good debut run for him last week, starting in the 11th position tonight. Peter Donchak to his outside in 12th. Paul Ellison and the points leader, James Watson, on row number 7. Last time, the Atlanta 08 winner, Drew White, in the inaugural race in series history, starts in the 15th position. Victor Aldrich to his outside in 16th. Matt Houston back tonight for the first time in over a full season. He starts in 17th. No times for Hunter Engrave, second in the points, 18th on the starting grid. And Christian Arribas back with us tonight will round out your starting lineup. Cars are rolling, Matt Williamson. Track conditions here on a morning time race for the Daredevils at Atlanta.
Yep, it's a morning race here, so the track temperature isn't too hot, but a little bit hotter than I think we would expect for a normal morning race here. It's 91 degrees on the track temp, so it'll be a little slick for our drivers here tonight, this morning, whatever you want to call it. It'll be a little bit slick. Fuel window is 30 to 35 laps. Might be able to stretch it a little longer, which may be important here coming up in just a little bit. We are looking at 0 fast repairs, unlimited tires. Don't think they're going to need them. 75 laps here tonight. So we are right on the fuel bubble here for a lot of the field. But, of course, cautions could change everything.
One caution here could spell a whole lot of trouble. We saw it at Chicagoland. First wreck of the race took out 12 of the 18 drivers in the field. We've got 19 here tonight, so one more to spare in the opening caution. We'll hope it doesn't come to that.
Certainly, hopefully not, but fireworks are afoot, whether we have a big one or not, and we are about to find out how this one's going to unfold.
Here we go. March 9th of 2022 to August 23rd of 2023. The Daredevils are back on the move at Atlanta. Good start for Gavin Sanders on the outside, looking to clear Matthew Short down, and does. Everybody jockeying for position behind them.
Oh!
You're Short to the outside, now going to get swallowed up.
And they are 3 wide here through turn number 3. Little bit of contact between Short and Ryan Dye. They stick with it.
Wow, that nearly spelled disaster for most of this field. Oh yeah, apron, inbounds, through the tri-oval only. By the way.
Yeah, and it is a large, large apron, so a lot of room to navigate through the quad oval here tonight.
One driver bailing out already. Maybe the smart move. As Short and Sanders battling side by side for the lead.
Oh, there's contact!
Wow.
Dan Miglin has gone for a huge spin here.
Caution is out. Miglin and Vroman get tangled together. Vroman does end up saving it, but Miglin pretty bent up there and came to a stop in the middle of the track.
We'll take a look at a replay. It's Miglin here. I think that is a pink car. And, oh, yeah, him and Roman come together. Take another little look at this here. Oh, and it looks like, as we often see here unfortunately, in the Daredevil series with the Lotus 79. Definitely netcode contact. Miglin was coming down the track a little bit. Vroman kind of chased the car up the track just a tad, but definitely a lot of room in between them. Don't think they would have touched. So unfortunate for Miglin. He's going to get a lot of damage off of that incident.
Yeah, quite a bit of netcode there. And we see some faking. All right, Dakota DeMade will bite from the 5th position. Interesting. Some gamesmanship afoot as always.
This is going to confuse me all night. Gavin Sanders running the classic Matt Houston livery here. Houston tonight is sporting a little bit of a different version, but still very similar. So some drivers thinking that they will be good to go with some caution laps here, be able to push an extra 2 or 3 laps and be just fine on the fuel calc. We'll have to see. I think it's definitely possible as long as you're not that lead car. I think you're in good shape.
Yeah, Gavin Sanders, was inches ahead of Matthew Short when the caution was thrown. I may come to regret that here because runs are big. Big.
Well, you mentioned Matt Short's pick of the week. He picked me last week, and unfortunately it wasn't possible. However, he should have picked me this week.
Somebody did pick you this week.
Really?
Yeah, it sure looks like it.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it. That's where we were getting to. Ryan Dye's livery tonight is quite something. It has my face and body plastered all over it, and some of them are not the best pictures. So we're just gonna take a look at this here for you, get this over with. He was quite excited to debut this, and I had no clue. Tommy had no idea. I get in the session and I just go, what in the world is this thing? And boy, was I in for quite the treat. So yes, there are certainly photos on that car. If anybody has any questions, you can message me later.
No.
I've
got no questions. It's Matt Williamson as far as the eye can see here in Atlanta on car number 200. How about it?
It's fitting that it's on the 200 car for sure.
Yes. Ryan started 3rd, has dropped back a spot behind Nicholas Isidro, who's gone up 2 spots. Peter Donchak started 12th. He's up to 6th already. Granted, a couple of those were picked up by people pitting, but not all of them. Good start here for Peter. Just outside of the top 5. Coming to lap number 7 of 75. Field is all single file around the top side of the track. Pace truck is going to hang a left. Long way to go in this one. Gavin Sanders back to it.
We are too wide here, a little bit farther back already. Oh, cleaner restart, single file. Isidro is already trying to make a move here on Matt Short, and he is on the outside of the 35 right now. Something else we should probably mention that we...
Oh,
whoa! Wow, definitely some wheel rubbing there from Matt Short and Nicholas Isidro.
Wow.
And now with those two battling, Ryan Dye will pull in, and the rest of the field behind them looking to close in as well.
These cars are uneasy. That is the best way to describe them. I don't think they were this unsettled at Chicagoland.
No, certainly not. Peter Donchak and Christopher Hill. Whoa, man, we are way through the apron here.
Sanders all the way down to the grass. It's legal.
Everybody is together now. Oh, contact!
Save it! Incredible.
Isidro and Sanders banging wheels here. Isidro's going to get to the lead.
4:24 to the point. Boy,
Now
this can't last much longer.
Sanders moves to the outside.
Isidro all the way down to the inside.
That Short thought about putting himself 3 wide, thinks better of it, or just couldn't quite get there. Not sure which one of the two.
That's a lap 74 move. We're only on lap 10, and these guys are already going at it.
What
3 wide. Oh, boy.
This is Kirk Lane up here on the top line. More contact between Isidro and Sanders.
Insane.
This is what we came here for.
This is the Daredevil Series.
We've lacked it just a bit the last couple of weeks, in my opinion, but we are back in a big way.
Here comes Lane back up on the top. No help. Not sure you need it. A ton of it anyway.
Something you can do in these cars that we don't really mention on most tracks, but it will be prevalent here. You can kind of bump draft in these cars. And when I say kind of, I mean you can. You can get attached to the bumper and just push somebody. We're 3 wide every time into turn 3 for the last few laps.
Well, what didn't help the front two is that Sanders and Isidro actually made contact out of turn number 2. It slowed them up big time. Lane able to get back up and make another run at it on the outside. This is intense here. Lap number 13. Sanders in the middle. Isidro on the inside. Lane trying to make something work on the outside. Falls back into line. Now they fan out through the tri-oval.
This is almost like stock car super speedway racing right here. Very, very difficult to get the runs. You're almost kind of stuck 2 by 2 here and just trying to inch forward in each lane.
Something happened to Christian Arribas. I'm not sure what, but he has just jumped back to the pits. We are wheel to wheel up front. Isidro rolls out of it.
Wow.
424 says, that's enough for me. Got my fix. That'll give the control of the field back to Gavin Sanders. Now Matthew Short making a move already to move to the outside.
Oh! Little bit of contact. Sanders.
Oh.
That right rear tire of Sanders is going to be shredded by the end of this thing.
This is Steve Roman now into the mix.
And Peter Donchak hanging out third in line on the bottom as well.
These guys are clipping the apron through the corners, and it is so unsettling, these cars. 3 wide.
Kirk Lane up into the wall a bit.
We'll lose quite a bit of time. Hopefully didn't knock the toe out on that car.
Lane is falling back to fifth. Peter Donchak has filled in that hole on the top line. He is now pushing Matthew Short.
Wow, Roman is so loose. How much time you're able to gain down cutting the tri-oval.
Oh, and Christian Arribas is in the chat. He said that he kind of got distracted just hanging out in the back and ended up getting hard into the wall.
Man, that sucks.
Yeah, very unfortunate.
Well, that leaves us with 17. For
Roman
how much
was-
longer, I'm not sure.
Roman was late to get off the apron, and boy, was he wiggling big time there into one.
Wow! Big wiggles. Still wiggling. Sanders in short, side by side for the lead. Donchak and Vroman side by side for second. Lane and Isidro about to be side by side for fifth. Did I say second? I meant third. And Ryan Dye thinking about closing back in on this group.
Yeah,
but they're three wide now for third.
Most of the rest of the field just trying to hang out. They don't want to get caught up in something early on here. Still over 50 laps of racing left.
Craziness. Don't expect anything less, though. Butter smooth surface here on the brand new Atlanta Motor Speedway. We have broken the old RIL record here of in-race lap. It's currently now held by James Watson. A 27.958. It was a 28.100. Wow! It does not get much closer than that before we are sending people to the infirmary.
Hey, Tommy, did you know that this track changed here last year?
I have heard that.
Crazy. Who'd have
Yep.
thought?
Next time it'll be a night race. 3 wide for second. They still don't have lights for this track, by the way. I just want to point that out. Would love to
In
get
the
that
sim.
fixed soon. Yes, in the sim.
Obviously.
They are floating 10 feet off the ground if you go outside of turns 1 and 2, but they are not active as lights. Can't complain too much, though, as we're 3 wide for the lead. Now, double file. Gavin Sanders and Matthew Short.
Oh, there it is! Gavin
That's...
Sanders! Oh, he hit somebody else on the way out!
Oh, man. Drivers going low to try and miss. Those Sanders and Short had pretty well locked wheels. I think the driver that he gets a hold of was TJ Crampton.
And Sanders is done. He can't
Yeah,
even
meatball.
really turn left here.
Meatball
His-
flag for Sanders.
His car is also really jacked up on the front. It looks very, very odd.
The wheels aren't even touching the ground.
Right, on the
That
front.
is... that is... I've never seen one that bad before. At the front, anyway. TJ Crampton definitely has some damage on that as well. Let's take a look at how that got started, see if we actually made some contact up front or if we had more netcode.
Yep, we're going into turn 1 here. Sanders bottom, Matt Short on the top. Here through the middle. It was pretty close to contact. May have been a little bit of space in between, but not much. Kind of looked like they're Matt Short's left front and Sanders' right rear almost came together. That's what got Sanders loose. Sanders turns. Man, Vroman nearly got into him, just barely squeezes through there. And this is where everybody will start scrambling. There's Dye. Christopher Hill get through okay. But this is where Sanders comes down the track. And I think Ellison gets tagged here a little bit farther back in the pack, trying to get checked up on the top there as well. And, of course, Crampton, as Tommy mentioned, was the other driver that Sanders got into there with some pretty good damage on that car as well.
Just missed making it through there. So Sanders has called it a night. That's the first time we've seen him on the channel in quite some time. I think since Bristol Bash 2. So it's been a minute. But was happy to see him, and sad to see him go from the lead at the Daredevil Series race. Round number 10 of the third season. Steve Roman, I do believe, won the race off of pit road. So he will be in control of the field on a restart, I believe, for the very first time in the Daredevil Series.
Yep, everybody down pit road on this one. And yeah, Steve Roman, he has taken over the lead here, and it'll be interesting. He is he's got a couple wins here on the channel.
Yes, indeed.
One of them is on a super speedway track.
And had a good shot at getting one last night as well in the Venom Truck Series at Dover. Had an interesting pit strategy going, one that you and I agreed off air that was looking pretty good. And then, unfortunately, did not get to see how it turned out thanks to an ill-timed caution. I mean, when I say ill-timed, I mean one of the worst timed cautions we've ever seen.
Yeah, literally could not have been any worse for Steve Roman, the timing of that thing.
So possibly some rights to be wrong tonight. However, being at the lead at this restart is interesting, to say the least. The runs are huge.
Yeah, the good thing is he gets to start single file here, so gets to at least get his feet underneath of him, or his wheels underneath of him, I suppose, before he kind of gets attacked from the outside and so on and so forth. One thing that might be a little easier for him, we saw him having trouble kind of getting onto the apron through the corners. I think it's a little bit harder when you're following somebody, so I think it's easier to keep your line the way you want it to be when you don't have somebody in front of you kind of altering your vision, speed, and everything else.
Pace truck is off. We are back to green. It's a pretty good jump here. And already Lane trying to get around short for second. Maybe we'll just fall back into line here as the rest of the pack is pretty well spread out behind him.
And you want to be careful battling here on restarts because you can lose the draft quickly if you're not careful. Not as much for the front of the field. Usually they get it together, but I'm talking a little bit farther back in the field.
It's a pretty good run.
Easy to lose the pack.
Yes, it is. Short right back to it on the outside.
Kurt Lane is now committed to the bottom after running the third lane for a lot here tonight. Very different strategy. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Matt Short has squeezed himself down to the bottom line as well. Here comes Ryan Dye in the 200 on the outside.
The Matt Williamson Memorial Machine is rocking and rolling on the top side.
This is the punishment I get for trashing Buffalo Wild Wings.
Dye making it work by himself for right now. Says if he can manage to park this car in victory lane tonight, it will never appear again. So you should be rooting for it.
Well, I guess that's true. I'd like it to disappear, but I also really don't want it to live in the history books of Turn 200 either. So a bit of a catch-22 for myself there. But I'm wondering if this is either a strategy play, like fuel-wise, trying to save fuel for everybody running the bottom, or if this is just hey, let's just relax for a little bit, get some laps in, and then we'll start fighting later on.
Dye's been one to test the waters a lot this season, test the limits of himself and this car. His first season with the Daredevils has gone pretty well, sitting in the top 5 in points down the stretch here.
Oh, wow. Squeezing down on Steve Roman a bit. Of course, him and Roman, a lot of history in stock car racing. Not as much here in the Daredevil series, but nonetheless, they are right back to the old antics.
They've logged a lot of laps side by side, and they continue to do so here.
And we mentioned the gap, or you could get a gap and kind of lose the draft. The back half of the field from Victor Aldrich in ninth on back has lost the front pack here a little bit. They're close. I'm not going to say they're not going to be able to catch up, but it might take a little while here.
They were about a tenth quicker than the front group this last time around, so they are closing. It is going to take them a little bit unless something happens up front. Kirk Lane on back is fading away from the top three, so that is certainly going to help the cause of everybody that is 10th and, 9th on back.
Yeah, well, what they have going for them is those folks in the back, they're just running single file and making the tail of that line a lot longer than it would be if they were 2x2. So it's helping that pack, or that single file line, I should say, in the back kind of catch up here.
Yeah, Drew White in 10th was about 2/10 quicker than Victor Aldrich in 9th this last time around. As Matthew Short trying to push Steve Roman clear on the inside. Not sure it's going to happen just yet. They are working away as Ryan Dye all by himself making the outside line work.
I know we're a long ways from this, but I just have a feeling if it's still running this way on the final lap, Matthew Short is going to go middle. He's going to force his way into the middle and try to win it that way, I think is the play.
We got to make it there first. Everybody is in jeopardy that is still on the track right now.
You know I like calling the strats. I call them early.
Oh, yeah. And I think you're right. It's just a question of you got to be there on lap 75.
Oh! He's not going to be! Oh,
no.
no!
Dye, Short, Lane really get the worst of it. Other drivers going to get bits and pieces on their way through. Man, oh, man. Big, big trouble. Boy, did we jinx that one, partner.
Yeah, they're going to want to give me my pink slip after that.
Well, the Matt Williamson car will be back at Monza next week. That's the bad news for you. Let's take a look at what happened.
Well, we're coming out of turn 2 here. A little bit of a snake down to the bottom from Matt Short. Ryan Dye on the top side here in the Matt Williamson mobile. He is running middle, but kind of dips down, I guess, to side draft maybe, because he knew that Short had gone low. And they come together, touch wheels, they both get loose, and then they both go for a little spin-a-rooney here. And there's a lot of cars involved. Kirk Lane is involved as well. I think Dakota DeMade gets touched here somewhere as well. I think I missed it.
I think they both might have been okay until Kirk Lane, who of course has nowhere to go, gets involved. That sort of makes it worse for everybody.
DeMade basically just came to a stop, so it registered as a crash. Looks like a couple of other drivers just kind of touched wheels trying to get slowed down, but nothing too crazy. So really 3 drivers heavily involved in that one.
Really sucks when some of your favorite kids get involved in fights in the schoolyard.
Well, it's going to happen from time to time, especially on the high banks here in the open wheel cars.
For sure. No words exchanged over the radios, but I'm sure some angry drivers somewhere in our Discord server, which you could be a part of if you want to see everything that'll unfold after the race tonight. Links in the description. We appreciate. Oh, go ahead.
Also want to mention, right here in the middle of the stream, if you haven't subscribed, please think about it. It's free. It helps us out. And you can chat with us after you do so throughout the race. So would appreciate that as well.
Sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Especially since it's free.
You can't beat free.
No, you sure can't. How about Peter Donchak? up front. Matt
Yeah.
Houston in second.
Peter's been hanging around in the top 5 all night, and finally has a little luck go his way. He gets through that incident and finds himself right up here in the front. Matt Houston's come from pretty far back to get to the second spot, was making a few moves there, and yeah, I think we should be probably good on fuel here as well. I don't think we're gonna have to worry about fuel any longer, so looking good for the drivers here right now, except for, well, I take that back. Peter Donchak, Matt Houston, and Dakota DeMay did not come to pit.
I was going to say, I think our top 3 might have to do a little saving here, or are banking on another caution, which is, I'll go ahead and say it. It's likely. It's likely. Not a certainty, but likely. We're about to find out how likely it is. Coming to lap 42 of 75, Peter Donchak in control at Atlanta. Matt Houston, Dakota DeMay, Steve Roman, Nicholas Isidro, your top 5. Watson, Hill, White, Aldrich, and Engrave, your top 10. Here goes DeMay.
Haven't talked much about DeMay yet tonight. Gives himself a little track position here.
Oh, here goes Roman.
They're going to have a lapped car in front of them. I believe that's Matthew Short.
He's going to stay to the bottom here. As Peter Donchak leading this absolute mess behind him.
Oh, Donchak goes high here into turn 3.
Here goes Roman.
Wow, I'm not sure if something happened or if he's trying to roll out of it, maybe. I really don't know.
I think maybe he knew how big of a run the entire field was about to get on him. Decided to get ahead of it. Whoa, Isidro in Houston. Wheel to wheel. Nicholas Isidro not playing around tonight.
No, well, it's interesting. He's come up here, made bold moves, then he dropped back, and now feels like he has to be up front again because this is the run to the end. Oh, Matt Houston dropping out of it now as well.
Rolling out big time. Here's Christopher Hill now into the mix, challenging Isidro for second with help from James Watson and Drew White as well. Where did the Oval Master come from?
He always comes from the shadows, but always ends up towards the front here at Atlanta.
He did not make his presence known until the final restart in the inaugural race of competition. A little bit earlier tonight, but he's on the right track here. Maybe literally.
Shout out to Nathan Reynolds at Car Inside in the chat as well. And looking at Donchak and Houston, kind of giving up their position, I think it's a fuel save play because they did not come down to pit, and they knew that they would be in big trouble if they stayed at the front of the field. So I'm guessing that's probably why they dropped back.
DeMay in the same boat as well, now outside of the top 10. Steve Roman, I mean, just about clipped the grass. That's how inside he was here. Watson all but pushing Christopher Hill.
No, he is pushing. that wasn't all but. I think that was a push.
Xfinity Series rules, no bump drafting for some reason. Nah, we're going all out tonight. We've proven that already with 3 cautions in the opening 40 laps of this race.
Let's go ahead and go kick pot cam here with Drew White. He's sitting in 5th place right now. 3rd car on the outside. And you can listen to them work the throttle. They get these big runs, but really nowhere to go with them. So they have to lift pretty heavy almost all the way throughout the racetrack if you're, 2 or 3 cars behind that leader in your line.
Speaking of leaders of the line, behind Drew White, Peter Donchak, Hunter Engrave, Victor Aldrich, Matt Houston, Dakota DeMay, Zachary Flown. They are all closing quickly. I don't know where they're going to go. Oh, boy! Hill up into the wall! Oh, man.
Wow, I can't believe he didn't hit anybody else.
No, I can't either. Caution is out. Vroman, I think, going to get loose, move up the track, and just... I think Christopher Hill's just barely going to get into the outside wall, but it's enough to absolutely, completely unsettle that car.
Yep, we're taking a look at the replay here, and Hill tried to squeeze Vroman to get some position. Oh, and actually it might have been initiated by netcode.
Oh, of course.
It looks like Vroman's car just goes straight right on. I mean, not completely straight right, but definitely doesn't look like he either got loose or turned right. I think that left front netcoded with the right rear of Vroman, and that's what pushed him up the track.
Definitely netcode there for sure. There was a good foot between them. Not much, but I mean, a foot is a lot.
So, wow, and look at this. Christopher Hill, you're right, gets into the outside wall, comes in behind across the track, behind the top three. Drew White rolls out of it, stays out of Christopher Hill, and Hill just goes to the grass, does a little J-turn, and he's back and rolling. So probably a little bit of damage for Hill, but hopefully not too much, and he'll be able to continue with everybody else.
Man, oh man. And under this caution, Donchak, Engrave, Houston, Hill, DeMade, Flaum, Lane, Crampton, and Dye all into pit. Of course, Crampton and Dye needing repairs, presumably Hill as well. But everybody else should be just looking for a gas and go. Man, oh man. 25 laps away from crowning a winner here tonight. And a new winner will find themselves in the field for the Daredevil Series All-Star Race. We have 2 more points-paying races this season. Next week at Monza, combined without chicanes, which is... nobody is ready for this. Not the drivers, not the viewers, not us. That is going to be insane. And then one of the favorites, Auto Club, under the lights to close out the points-paying season. But then, the sleeper hit, dare I say, of any series ever on this channel. It is what I recommend as the hidden gem of Turn 200. The Daredevil Series race at Gateway in Season 2. The All-Star Race will be back at Gateway after the conclusion of the regular season.
Yeah, Season 2 at Gateway was, just spectacular, and it really took us by surprise, but the action was fierce, and we loved every minute of it. So bringing it back for the All-Star Race was only the right way to do it.
So Steve Roman survives the contact up front. He'll have a chance to win tonight, lock himself into that All-Star Race field. Citro is in already with his victory at Pocono earlier this season. James Watson is in by virtue of his 2 victories, and now currently the points lead would certainly do the trick. Drew White is in with his victory here at Atlanta in the inaugural race. Victor Aldrich on the outside looking in, but that could very easily change as well. There, your top 5 rolling to this restart. A lot of hungry drivers all through the field, looking to make big waves in the closing 25 laps. And now make it 23 to go.
James Watson already looking to the outside of Isidro. Everybody else kind of spread out for right now. Looking to close in. Engrave a little bit farther back, looking to the outside already. I feel like that line, we're 3 wide. I would think they would want to catch up to the leaders before they start doing this, but it's not going to happen. Meanwhile, the fight for the lead has already ensued.
Watson and Isidro. Now Watson with help on that outside. Fighting for the lead. He has the points lead, but he's been awfully frustrated that he cannot make it to victory lane thus far. He wants to get the dub. And I think by this point, he'll do just about anything for it.
Well, we know how aggressive he can be, and this is a place that you have to be and have to have that aggression. So I think if there's a place he can do it, it's definitely here. I mean, he can get it done almost any week and any day of the week, but this seems like a perfect fit. Of course, the problem is he has Drew White behind him, who has some experience winning races here at Atlanta.
Oh boy!
So again, it's the top 5 all here together. Somebody we really haven't mentioned is Victor Aldrich. He has come from way back in the field to get to 5th here.
Oh!
Wow!
Oh my gosh, what a save.
I don't know how Watson didn't plow the wall there.
No.
And now he gets to solo 2nd. They're all in line for right now. Oh, and here comes the rest of the field. They've caught up with the leaders after the incident, and they are shuffling big time.
Watson trying to get a big run and make the pass somewhere, anywhere, after an incredible save.
Peter Donchak back to 5th. Now he's on the outside looking for more.
Look at him go. He's up to 2nd by himself here. Challenging for P2. What a run. Donchak with a wing out in front.
Watson super loose on the bottom.
Here we go. Donchak to the outside of Roman for the lead.
He's getting backed up into Drew White. Drew White doing everything he can not to run him over in the corners, but also push him down the stretches.
Watson feeling boxed in. Roman so loose on corner exit. Peter will have a pretty good run down the back straightaway. Will it be enough to clear? Roman down. Oh, so close. "14 laps to go." Peter with another run with help from White on the outside. Not going to be enough.
This is the ultimate hornet's nest. I want to go kick pot cam. Oh, no!
There we go. Roman, Donchak, Aldrich, and Ellison. And I think Roman's luck on the bottom is run out. Yeah, I don't know what it was about turn 4, but the 0-0 just looked so uneasy every time out of there. And we've seen that the way people bring their rear tires in. It can could change how the car handles.
Well, here's the replay. Looking good for right now. Roman dips a tire and 2 tires. Oh, man. He does come up the track, but there is also netcode. Everybody trying to scramble to get out of it. Wow, a little bit of contact between Ellison and I think it was Engrave, but pretty negligible. man, I think everybody else ends up getting through this clean. That is just insane.
Aldrich and Ellison are going to pick up 4 X's. Not sure where, though. It might have been amongst themselves.
Well, actually, that could have been Aldrich. I'm not sure it was Engrave, and I think it was. So it was Ellison and Aldrich that came together. Just barely as they were trying to get through and squeeze between the 2 that had wrecked in Donchak and Vroman.
So I'm leaning more towards I think there was going to be contact in that one. I think Roman was headed up the track, but you're right, the Netco did start that one. Steven had a couple of close calls already. That incredible save by James Watson. And now Watson is going to be the big beneficiary here, leading the way for what could potentially be the final run to the checkers. We'll see.
But he has the 15 and Drew White.
And
starting right behind him. Also,
Isidro.
Yeah, Isidro. And then don't look any farther than right behind Isidro. It's Dakota DeMade. I mean, we have major Daredevil Series players all together here. The classics, if you will.
The true wild card here is one of the Atlanta boys himself, Paul Ellison. We have not seen what Paul Ellison can do at the end of one of these races, because usually he has been taken out by this point in the race. That is not the case here. He'll be in the top 5 for this restart.
If we remember, if we go all the way back to the first ever Daredevil Series race at Atlanta, it wasn't the leaders that ended up winning the race. We had 5 drivers get up into the wall. Although Drew White was either on the front row or on the second row when the incident happened. He got through cleanly.
It was him and Siefker side by side, and Siefker had sort of clipped the apron a little bit, moved up the track, and then it was on from there. And yes, like you said, 5 drivers in the catch fence.
Yeah.
And the rest is history. That's why we're here today. Not just here at Atlanta, but why we are here doing this today.
So all of that to say, Paul Ellison may be sitting in a decent spot.
I think so. I think you are right. We'll see how froggy he's feeling here on this restart with 10 laps to go. Watson, White, Isidro, DeMade, Ellison, your top 5. Aldrich, Lane, Flaum, Engrave, and Houston, your top 10. Watson to the gas. Good jump for the top 2. Isidro fading.
Drew White, I think, thought about pulling into the outside. Hasn't done it quite yet, but I have to believe as soon as the other 2 get to him, he may try it. It might be too late, though. He doesn't.
He may have made his bed. Now Isidro and DeMade are going to jump to the bottom. Oh, problems!
Oh, my goodness!
Aldrich, Ellison, Flaum, and Lane. And Aldrich hasn't landed yet. Unbelievable.
That...
I feel bad, but holy cow.
I'm not laughing because of the crowd. I'm laughing because it scared the absolute bejesus out of me. As we were rounding that corner, a car was all of a sudden literally covering the entire camera.
Well, we saw the middle of it. Let's see how it started.
Goodness. I almost had a heart attack right there. All right, so this is Ellison and Aldrich again, side by side. Of course, they had already taken some damage, and this is going to be big time netcode that gets Ellison loose off of Aldrich. They both go absolutely flying into the catch fence. And then a couple of drivers, they get spun out here as well, trying to avoid it. It's Kirk Lane. And Zach Flaum is the other driver here.
Zachary Flaum going to call it a night. He needed a big night to stay within eligibility for the points championship. Unfortunately, not going to find the results he was looking for. And the thing that nobody wants to see here in the closing laps, maybe not nobody, that's a strong use of the word, but James Watson leading the way, already a race ahead of everybody else, going to the penultimate race of the season. As much as Victor Aldrich is going to hate to hear this, that is going to be in a lot of our promotional material going forward for the Daredevil series. That is a hellacious ride.
Yep, we're kickpocketing with it right now. And yeah, that was a big one.
Tilt-a-whirl. Last driver to have a tilt-a-whirl that bad, I think, was James Watson at Pocono last season. I think this one tops that, though.
That was a pretty bad one. The car just did not want to settle itself down. Sixth caution of the night. Will be 5 to go at the line.
I don't know. 75 may not be enough.
I think there's about 7 cars here that have minimal damage. The rest of them have had some sort of pretty decent sized incident here.
And there are still 11 cars running. Like you said, the majority of them have been through the ringer already. I mean, you might as well throw James Watson in there. It was a 4X between he and Steve Roman. He just happened to save it and stay in the second position somehow against all odds.
Whew, boy, this is where I get nervous.
And there are about 11 other people that are just as nervous as both of us up here, I think. James Watson in control, looking for the first win of the season. Drew White looking for his second Atlanta victory. Nicholas Isidro in third. Dakota DeMade in fourth. Hunter Engrave in fifth. Christopher Hill, Matt Houston, Matthew Short, TJ Crampton, Ryan Dye in 10th. Kirk Lane, the 11th and final driver running. Pace truck hangs a left. Everybody strap in. This might be the run to the checkers. Good jump for the top two again. Cedro lays back, looking to get a big run here in about a lap. Here comes White. He thought about a move. Doesn't do it.
And it'll take a lap or two for everybody to get together here, so now might be the time to try to get one more spot before you get boxed in.
Here comes the Cedro with a big hit of steam. 4 to go. Lays off of it. Dakota DeMade will take the run to the outside. Engrave has just fended off Christopher Hill. They are now going to catch up.
Thought Drew White was thinking about taking the outside. He commits to Watson here.
Oh, Hill to the outside of Engrave. 3 wide.
And Hill touches the outside wall nearly into DeMade. He's still making ground.
3 wide for second. Wheel to wheel. A bump to Watson. Where does he defend? Where can he defend? Here's DeMade to the outside. Hill to the outside. 3 wide into 3.
Drew White is all over the back of Watson.
Coming to 2 to go. Are we going to make it back around? No, we're not!
Contact!
Engrave, Hill, DeMade, Isidro. The beat rolls on. Matthew Short, Kirk Lane will get a piece of this as well. Oh, man.
Oh, Nelly. It's getting hot in her. I mean, they were like fighter pilots in formation here, but the formation has gone awry. Here out of 4. Looks like Hill and DeMade get together entering this quad oval. And then Isidro right behind him gets involved. And then Hill off the top of the wall. Engrave thought he was going to be fine. He ends up getting hit by Hill as well as Hill slides down the racetrack. Take one more look at it here from the blimp. Not going to be many drivers left without damage.
Certainly not. Christopher Hill, Dakota DeMade, Hunter Engrave, all with meatball flags. I think Hill and DeMade are still out on track, but they will have to serve that penalty.
So this is it. This will be the final restart no matter what.
Point of no return.
I think quite literally everybody has been involved in an incident here.
I think you're right.
I think maybe Drew White is the only one that hasn't had a 4X tonight. And I'm not even sure that's true.
Well, let me tell you. Drew White and Matt Houston right now. That's it.
Unbelievable. You gotta love it.
And that could change so quickly.
Well, after it changes, it's not going to matter much. There won't be another restart. Whoever gets to that line first will be the winner.
2 laps to settle it. Watson has been waiting for his first victory all season despite being the points leader.
Huge jump for the top 2. Watson and White are way out in front for right now. Houston and Lane will have to really hustle it to get back to him before this thing's over.
It might be a 2-dog fight up front. White flag.
White flag as White goes to the outside. Not much of a run. He'll pull back in to get the draft.
Can he find room to pass? To the checkers. White to the outside. Watson Underneath! Watson is finally going to get it done! James Watson, a winner again with the Daredevil Series. And James Watson has all but clinched the Season 3 Drivers' Championship. 8 1/1000ths of a second at the line. Drew White, a podium again at Atlanta, this time a second-place finish. And his first race in over a season, Matt Houston will take his first career Daredevil Series podium. He's been so close this season, and you could sense the frustration. You didn't need to sense it. He told you how frustrated he was every single time. And this has got to feel great, especially how much he overcame just in this race alone. It's got to make it all that much sweeter.
Yeah, he's had an awful up and down season, but finally gets it on the top spot. Does a little leapfrog here with Drew White as they come to celebrate together. The TWR crew taking spots 1 and 2 here.
That is almost it was almost a really impressive burnout, and then that happened. So I think Drew White's going to keep celebrating. Watson back to the pits. We'll go ahead and give you the finishing rundown here. A lot of disappointed drivers coming out of tonight, I am sure. But they will not be any of these three gentlemen. James Watson, Drew White, Matt Houston on the podium. Hopefully talk to all three of these guys momentarily. Kirk Wayne. How about Kirk Lane? I mean, he was wrecked twice in this race. Third place last week, fourth place tonight. Outstanding run for the 81 again. How about a top 5 in his debut? TJ Crampton was also, I thought at one point, destroyed and out of the race. He'll take the top 5. Nicholas Isidro, a P6. Compared to how his race has been the last few weeks, it's got to feel good. Matt Short, a 7th place tonight. Ryan Dye, the last car running, in 8th. Christopher Hill will finish in 9th. Dakota DeMade in 10th. Hunter Ingrave in 11th. Victor Aldrich in 12th. Paul Ellison 13th. Zachary Flaum 14th. Steve Roman in 15th. Peter Donchak 16th. Gavin Sanders in 17th. Christian Arribas and Dan Megalin. Your 19 drivers that came out and ran the Daredevil Series tonight. It's a big welcome back here to our 3rd place finisher, Matt Houston. Matty Pump is back in the house, and he's going to score a podium here tonight. Welcome back to the booth, partner.
With that awesome qualifying I had, I wasn't really expecting it, but just got to keep that nose clean and come through on these kind of races, right?
Yeah, big time loss there on the qualifying, but you made up for it with race pace. I don't even know where to start. You got to see a lot of the action here tonight. How chaotic was it?
Well, from my point of view, it wasn't too bad. But from what I heard, though, is like certain drivers, I can name some names, but they apparently couldn't hold their line very well, even though it was like completely flat out and that whole thing. One time I was like in 2nd place and I couldn't hold my line either. So I really don't know what I'm doing here.
All right. Matt, what do you got for Matt?
Well, he kept the nose clean. You were, I think, one of 2 drivers that came in with a 0x there on the last restart. What happened on that last restart? Just didn't get a great start, and you're just so hard to make up the time?
Here's what I'll say is, so Hill was like on the apron. I was like, am I going to get a black flag? And then it went away and I didn't notice it went away. And then I saw you cleared everything anyway. So I shouldn't have done that. But I don't know, my car was slow anyway. So you said I had a clean nose, but one time I ran into, I think it was Hunter, like just a little bit. I think it was all the cars were slowing down from a big wreck in front. And I just kind of like bumped him a little bit. And I did actually have 29 seconds of optional on that. They don't really repair it on this particular car very well. So I think I was down, like, unless I was drafting, I would be really slow on my own. So I didn't really think I had anything. And so I'm happy with it. I'm happy that all those guys wrecked because I wouldn't have got a podium otherwise.
Well, let's get some shout outs for you, partner. It's been a while since we've had you up here in the channel. Who do you want to thank here tonight?
Well, I can thank my teammates. Race First isn't doing much these days because of the IndyCar license thing, and that's completely fine with me for the most part. I don't want to be doing anything either. So, but I like my guys on the Race First team and Sunset Arctic with Dakota, Bio Echo Blade on Steam, pre-order Echo Blade on Steam maybe. But yeah, Caleb, he wasn't here tonight. Logan, everybody else that was in chat. We had Matt Short in there today. We had Zach. We had Peter. Who else did we have? Matt. We had Matt Short. Did I say that already? I got to be missing somebody. Yeah, but we had a good time. We always have a good time in the Race First chat, or it was actually Stowe chat. But yeah, we just have a good time. No whining or anything like that. We just have a good time.
Well, there you go. All positivity.
Oh yeah, Gavin was in there too. Until he died.
Yeah. Man, a lot of comebacks tonight. I wish Gavin could have made it to the end of the race. Would have loved to chat with him. But we get to chat with you, which is just as good in my book.
Hey, thanks guys for broadcasting this. And I'm going to be in that sports car league on Wednesdays too, coming up. Hopefully I'll be there more than I was here.
Sounds like a plan, partner. Good talking to you.
Yep, I'll see you guys.
Well, our waiting room cleared out. Let's go ahead and move in. I have completely lost where I'm at here. He's back. Here we go. Your runner-up finisher here tonight, Drew White. Man, 8 1,000ths away from getting to repeat here at Atlanta, but man, the Oval Master was back on top of his game here tonight from what it looked like.
Yes, I'm very happy. The last few attempts haven't been as lucky because of weird blinking issues with my internet or getting a bad wreck at Chicagoland, but I'm very satisfied with today getting the second place. Had to avoid eight different wrecks in the process, but I'm glad that I was able to get a second place and got my team captain James Watson a win in the process. So very happy with the process and the results for us two today at least.
Matt, what do you got for the Oval Master here?
Well, congrats on the P2. You said it. You had to dodge a lot of wrecks around you here tonight. I don't know how you did it, particularly when Christopher Hill went right across your nose. But, yeah, coming to that last restart, you knew you had the team leader, like you said, right there in front of you. Just couldn't quite get it accomplished. I thought we might see a little rubbing and tugging from old Drew White there coming to the checker.
I told James that I would do because unfortunately, but with the previous accident, I told him before that as soon as we get to one lap, I can't guarantee what was going to happen. But Christian, that whole incident happened with about 7 to go, and since it was just us two, I was kind of playing it safe. I probably should have went on it about a couple seconds earlier, or otherwise I probably would have been able to get a win otherwise. But it's just unfortunate that some of those accidents happen because we were going to have some really good chances to have a really good 8 wide finish potentially if some of those accidents didn't happen towards the end. But I don't know. It's just one of those things with racing where you just got to visualize and know what 50 steps ahead is going to be in certain instances. And fortunately, I got that Dale Senior skill and that Dale Junior skill and that intimidate button, baby. Let's go. I will say, I did want to win. Of course I want to win. Winning is everything, as Ricky Bobby says, if you ain't first, you're last. But we here in Daredevil, we rub and tug a little bit. We make sure that we love each other at the end of the day. I know our little Discord chat's getting a little rough. They might be rubbing and tugging in there a little bit. But look, I've been someone to get a little spicy after races and whatnot, and I think the last few months has been a process of me figuring out how to control a lot of just the issues that you get when you're racing. You get mad while you're racing, and you can say some things that you may regret after. And that's one thing that people, I don't know, I'm still newish to this. This is only my 3rd year, but really sim racing. But it's just that competitive nature with people. They just want to get out there, go out, and just win. And when you don't win, and it's something that isn't your fault, you're always going to blame someone else most of the time before you blame yourself. I think the sooner and the sim racing community and racing community, the people are willing to blame themselves for an incident earlier, I think issues would be resolved faster. But I think in a week or so, everything is going to be okay. I don't think anything was too terrible tonight, all things considered. It's just what you get when you get these exciting plate races, or not plate races, but super speedway races. Imagine if we had a restrictor plate on one of these things. That'd be stupid.
Oh, a lot of wise words up until that last sentence there.
No. That was the wisest thing I've ever said. That, or we're going to put some P2P on it as well,
Oh boy. Well, anyway, anybody you want to thank or shout out here tonight?
Oh, sure. I'll shout out Team Watson Racing and their setup shop, Team Watson Racing Setups. Nizumi Watches is a sponsor that I always like to shout out. If you like a good watch, go ahead and check them out. I would like to thank James Watson, my teammates Chris Hill, TJ, PETA, Dan, and other people who were here who did not make it or were here today. I also like to make a special shout out and a special thanks to my grandmother who passed away a couple months ago. She was one of the main reasons why I got into sim racing. It was something that my father was into for pretty much my entire life. I don't really have a close relationship with him now, but she knew how much racing meant to me, and this was something that I'm glad that I get to do. And even though she's not here, because she was always someone that would be asking me how I did every race, and I don't get that anymore. I always feel like she's still here with me and in some way, and I'm glad that I was able to get a second place here today for her. So I just want to give a special shout out to her, and special thanks to you guys too for putting on this lovely broadcast. I like to tell everyone that you guys are like the underdogs that no one really knows about. I feel like people need to know about Turn 200 more, because not very many people can put up a production like this and with what you guys do. And I think it's a special talent that I think people need to recognize more. So special shout out to you two, Matt, Tommy, and anyone else who helps you guys with production as well.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Much love from us. You did your grandma proud here tonight. You did everybody out in the Daredevil lane proud. Hope to talk to you again before the season is out, but congrats on the P2 here tonight, man.
Yeah, of course. If I'm not here for the last two races, you guys definitely know I'm going to be here for the All-Star race. You know that's going to be the race where we'll be rubbing and tugging the most. You know it, baby. I better have like 3 faster pairs after that one. So I'm excited for that. So I'll see you guys hopefully late next week, if not for the All-Star race. So you guys have a good one, okay?
Yep, you too, partner. And a hot swap to bring in your race winner here tonight. Finally, James Watson standing tall after 75 laps here tonight at Atlanta. All things are looking up 39 for right now, that's for sure. 3rd career victory, 1st of the season. You have extended your points lead by quite a bit. A lot to be smiling about after tonight.
Oh man, this race was chaotic. There were a few times where I thought for sure I was dead. Like that wreck on the back straightaway. Like I had to go full Days of Thunder cars, go right through the middle. I made it through, Harry. Yeah, this was amazing. Just so nice to be back at Victory Lane, get the monkey off my back. Been so close so many times this season, so to finally survive all the dumbassery going on, yeah, I'm grateful for that.
I've got no follow-up there. Matt, what do you got?
Sorry, big pop from old Mark here. Man, congrats on the win. You've had a little bit of an up and down season, but finally able to get it done here tonight, and looking really good heading into the last 2 races of the season for that points championship. How do you feel about Monza Combined next week? Are you gonna have to put in a little practice for that, or how are we feeling?
Yeah, I've already started to do some practice on it. It's yeah, that's sure gonna be interesting. The very first time through the banking and then through the Curva Grande for those who survived the banking is gonna be about the sketchiest thing that most of us will probably have ever done on this sim. So yeah, if you thought tonight was carnage, just you wait.
Yep. More surprises to come, I'm sure. All right, it's finally your time to shine out front. The final interview of the night. Anybody you want to shout out or thank?
Yeah, I gotta thank everyone back at Team Watson Setups. Use code WATSPIN39 for 10% off at checkout. I gotta thank Chris Graham and the National Racing Network for always sticking with me and supporting me. ZS Designs and Dizzy V Designs for taking care of my paint schemes. Martin Sports Sim Racing Apparel, and my folks for watching at home.
Congrats, man. It's been a long time coming. Glad to finally see you get on top here tonight. And like I said, things are looking pretty good in the points department heading into the final stretch of the season. So we'll be talking to you again soon, one way or another.
Here's hoping. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, congratulations. Alrighty. Yep. Alluded to by Drew White. Chat is blowing up. So some things to get to before the end of the night off stream. But Matt, what do you want to say here in conclusion after what is definitely one of the wilder races we've had here on the channel?
I'm just glad that Daredevil is back in its finest fashion. This is how it all started, with just absolute carnage and chaos here at Atlanta. We have finally returned to the sacred grounds here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, and it did not disappoint. Man, just a great night. A couple more cautions than maybe we wanted, but all things considered, I still think it was a great race. Shout out to Drew White, Ryan Dye at State Line Sim Racing. Christian Arribas was in here in the chat for a minute, as well as Nathan Reynolds at Car Inside and Matt Short right here at the end of the stream. Thank you guys for chatting, and thanks to everybody for tuning in here. Again, if you have not subscribed, please think about it. It helps us out. Or tell some of your friends. I'm sure there's a couple people in your life that would also enjoy some sim racing broadcasts in their life if you do as well. So let them know, and appreciate the support as always.
Tomorrow night is Dirt Racing Night in America. Maximum Velocity Racing League at Knoxville. We are going to cut loose on the big half mile for some heat racing and feature racing action with the Trunks. Yeehaw! That is going to be a blast. Monday night for Truck 200, they are at Daytona. Oh, man. Oh, wow. And then Tuesday night, with Venom Truck Series, we're at Auto Club. Oh, man, oh, wow. Wednesday night, next Wednesday, for the Daredevil Series, it is Monza combined without the first chicane. Like
oh, man, oh, wow.
Oh, man, oh, wow. Like James Watson alluded to, the first trip through Curva Grande, assuming that the field doesn't explode out of turn 1, because, again, we're taking the oval backwards for the combined part of the circuit. Assuming everybody doesn't die out of turn number 1, when they get to Curva Grande, there will be a medical team on site and ready to go. It's going to be interesting. But that is what is on tap for the next 4 races here on Turn 200. We have an announcement coming on Friday. So you're going to want to be in the Discord to see what we have in store. It'll be of intrigue to some of the folks here who have maybe just come from the ASRL recruitment race that has just happened. So keep your eyes peeled. Join the Discord if you're not in there already. Links in the description. But that's about it here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Thanks to the GOAT, Mr. Matt Williamson. I'm Tommy Cook. Until we meet again, we're saying so long from virtual Atlanta, where James Watson finally gets back to victory lane, his first win of the season, 3rd of his Daredevil Series career.